What's going on, everybody? Doc, Average Gamer Guys, back at again. More Escape from Tarkov action and a little bit of news today, as well as more of some discussion, I guess, as we take a look at some screenshots for the new Lighthouse map. So they've been teasing a few things over the last couple of weeks, and just recently, just the end of last week, we finally got some good, clean screenshots of Lighthouse. And I wanted to show those off, talk about them a little bit, dissect them a bit in this video. If you haven't seen them, we'll certainly spend some time looking at each of them. And then in addition, I certainly want to hear, what are you excited about? I think everybody's certainly excited for a new map, new content, some place new to explore and get shot on and maybe get bush camped in. But in all seriousness, I think everybody is very excited for that. And there's a lot of discussion and some speculation going around as far as what the timeline for this map looks like and what it's going to come with. So we'll spend a little bit of time talking about that as well. But let's jump in. Let's take a look at some screenshots for Lighthouse. All right, so these were provided through the Battlestate Games Twitter page. So if you're not a follower of that, I certainly recommend it. They do post a lot of this stuff, kind of the leaks, the kind of spoiler type stuff, and some intriguing things from time to time. So if you have a Twitter and you're interested, that's where these are coming from. So some really clean, nice, good screenshots of basically just different portions of this map. The one thing I was a little bit worried about when they first started to talk about the concept of this map, of it just being very linear and it basically being, the lighthouse on one end, was that there wasn't going to be a ton of stuff filtered throughout. And I'm actually really happy to see things like this. So you have some cabins that are, connected. You have some structures. Obviously, you have some lanes for some roads, and then a whole lot of just kind of wooded area. I think this is going to be a really unique map where we're going to get a nice variation of kind of, the little bit of urbanness, if you will. Again, with the structures and the cabins and some of those things, some areas that are pretty well built up, in addition to just having hopefully some routes and some things that take us through, some forested areas. My hope too with this map, and we certainly don't know what this looks like yet, is that there's going to be a lot of hidden stashes, and they're going to do like they did for Woods, where there are going to just be some really solid spots to go and find some good loot. Have some things like the medical fob. Maybe on this map, maybe they have kind of like a tech drop area where there's just a bunch of tech crates and some other things that we can get into. I'm hoping we see that. One, from a diversity of loot standpoint, and two, I still think that those areas are good central points for a map. Now, here's what we know about the map, and this has come from Nikita in his discussions. 10 to 12 players. It's going to be about the size, I think, of like Customs or, Shoreline before the resort is what it was described as. I don't have a good concept for that because I didn't play then. But it is also going to be pretty linear. So if you played prior to the Customs expansion, that map was very linear, kind of rectangular, if you will. It certainly had pathways to go down, but it was kind of a longer, again, more rectangular type map. So you'd start on one end or the other, and then again, your exfils were on the opposite side. We don't know what the exfils look like in this. I'm hoping they're going to be relatively dynamic. I hope that there's some cool stuff like, I don't know necessarily like the idea of, again, turning power on to then power up something else, but activating something in some way, having some car extracts and things like that. Having a boat extract that could be, pretty consistent would be really cool on this map. Because again, we're going to be basically on the shoreline pretty much, and we're going to be going out towards the lighthouse. So I think that'll be pretty neat. But that's what we know right now. The other thing that we know right now up front, as we take a look at this first screenshot, is that this is going to be the major content update. And they're still hoping to get it out by year's end, which I think would be really neat. There's been a lot of discussion recently that may anticipate coming with a wipe, which it's interesting that we talk about that, and I don't want to get that whole discussion talking about that specific word, but I do think if they did it at the end of the year, it would be a good time frame consideration. A lot of players will have progressed pretty far by that point. I think there's certainly a lot of people interested in some new content. This is going to come with a whole lot of other things as well. Inertia, VoIP, like they have a lot planned for the patch where Lighthouse is coming in. And I think it would be an interesting time to consider doing a wipe from a lot of aspects, bringing all this stuff in. Now, certainly you want players to be able to explore, but we also don't know what the quests look like on this map. So we're certainly going to have a lot of quests. The boss is not going to be in this map when it first releases, but the in-game trader will. And so what I find interesting about that, and what could be a really neat thing to be able to do, is to be able to adjust that and maybe have some earlier game quests here, and just make it a good spot again. While there may not be a ton of loot, we certainly don't know what that looks like yet. The in-game trader is certainly going to provide a very interesting thing. A lot of players are going to flock here at first, so it would be pretty cool if they did decide to kind of coordinate this with a wipe. Put some early game tasks here as well. Diversify it up between customs, so people coming back have somewhere else that they want to be able to go and to explore. It would be an interesting discussion, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But certainly I would be in line for that. I think that would bring a whole drove of players back as well, because there'd be so much additional stuff to check out, right? All of the new features, plus a new map, plus getting your character reset and getting a fresh start, I think would be really, really neat. So I don't see a whole ton else in this first screenshot, but it does look pretty cool. It looks like we're probably going to have kind of like a mountain range sort of as our boundary. So I was kind of wondering how that was going to play out as far as kind of our boundary limits, without it being like a wall or something. And it seems like we're going to kind of have sort of a set of mountains here, at least in this picture it looks like it. So I'm very excited for this map. I really am. I'm very, very excited. I think it's going to be really neat. So here's another really cool screenshot. So the way that this, from a lore perspective and where this lines up, is this tunnel is actually the connecting tunnel to Shoreline. So if you recall, there's the tunnel extract. It's all broken down and caved in and all that stuff. This is the other side of it. And it kind of sits in between that spot, obviously, again, still along the shoreline, and it pushes out to the lighthouse, which makes sense. I expect that this is probably going to still be some kind of an extract for the opposite side. This is certainly going to be, in my opinion, like one end of it, and it filters out from there. And again, I'm pretty well, seems to be pretty well confirmed that this mountain range is going to kind of be our border, probably our northern border is what it would make sense as this map flows. But obviously we'll see how everything folds out here. I don't see a ton else here, but you know, it is what it is. I like it. I actually like it. And I am hoping to a certain extent that you can find some elevation in here, which would be pretty cool. I would enjoy that. I think that would be pretty neat. But obviously not being able to get too high. I think this is going to be certainly a mid to long range engagement type map until we see the rest of it. But that's just my perception. And I think it would be pretty cool. Now here's the other question. Think about this. Does Shooter Born in Heaven change again, or also then get included in Lighthouse here? Maybe it moves from Shoreline. I don't know. I like Shoreline as a Shooter Born in Heaven map, but if this is going to have some good sight lines and some good angles for some long range engagements, you might find yourself trying to get 100-meter headshots on this one. That'll be interesting to see. So here's an inside look at the house. The interesting thing about this is, one, we're going to be able to get into these houses, which we anticipated. I thought was pretty cool. It also, again, does look like a lot of this is open, right? So this obviously goes out into like an outdoor kind of semi-covered balcony. You're kind of looking out onto the water, which I think is really cool. For all we know, the lighthouse could be like right here, and the only reason I say that is there's rock formations here. This either could be glass or this could be rock formation, so I'm not really sure. So maybe just like sitting right here, which would be a good sniper advantage position to get into to try to, you know, engage up there. The boss is supposedly, or one of them is supposedly going to, you know, be in the lighthouse or guarded by the lighthouse. So I think that would be an interesting thing. But this is pretty cool. And like I said, if a lot of the houses are like this with different angles, it may be frustrating at times, but it's also going to be pretty interesting, I think, to see how this kind of map folds out. And again, how it plays. especially with the different structures and things like that. So it seems to be pretty well populated with these kind of houses and cabins, and this might even be the upstairs of a future picture that we're going to see. So that could be interesting. I love the speculation. So if you have any speculation or you pick up any details, drop them in the comments, because I love to hear what other people see and think as far as the design. So we'll jump over here. Now this has been teased before. We got a screenshot earlier of standing kind of like somewhere here looking out. This certainly seems to be like a big focal point. One thing that was pointed out is that you got a big USEC banner here. This facility does look pretty well kept. You see some Terra Group things here as well. So there's a high probability that this is either some kind of base or it could also be the location of the trader. There's a lot of speculation going on back and forth. I think it would be really interesting. What I notice here is a lot of weapon crates. So, and obviously USEC banner makes this look like a USEC kind of base of operations, which Nikita and the Battlestate Games team has talked about in the past, that Lighthouse was a location for that and had a USEC base. What I find interesting about that is we may find ourselves here with some raiders, which I think would be really, really interesting. Obviously not confirmed. These are purely my speculations, but I think that could be an interesting take and could really kind of vary up the map. I would also anticipate at some point, if this is not the location of the trader, that maybe the boss frequents here. That would not surprise me at all. Having some guards, maybe a USEC kind of aligned boss would be kind of interesting. Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. You got multiple floors here, so if we're going to be able to get in and check this place out, I think hopefully you're going to have a lot to explore inside of here. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting location. Really cool. Again, you got the mountain backdrop. This is obviously looking down over towards the shoreline, as I would anticipate it is. You got some, this is pretty well fortified barbed wire right here. So this will be an interesting spot, and I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited. This is pretty neat. This is kind of a different structure than we've seen before, so I'm really excited for that. Here's a nice, beautiful shot of our lighthouse. Here's what's interesting too. This structure here, you can see it looks like it's on a raised platform, and then you got the lighthouse obviously in the distance. So this is our first really good shot of the lighthouse. We've got a small dome here, so it looks like this lighthouse area here is actually pretty big as far as where this sits, with a lot of ability to move. You got structure here, so it's going to be pretty well populated, which I think is pretty cool. But again, like I had talked about, if you can exactly get to where this picture is and physically get your character here, there's going to be some long range engagement opportunities, because again, I'm imagining you can travel down this way. There's going to obviously be some ways to get onto this. That's my only other concern / hope with the design of this map, is that there are multiple ways to get over to this kind of lighthouse area and island, if you will, in lieu of it being like a single bridge. Hopefully it's got like a man-made bridge, or maybe a land bridge or two of some sort. For all we know, maybe there's an underground tunnel that you can go into. Again, pure speculation. I just hope that you have some options to be able to get over here, because I think it could present some problems from a PvP aspect if there weren't some good lanes. So I want to throw that out there. But really cool. I like this little dome, very reminiscent of the dome on Reserve, and I think this is a cool screenshot. We get to see a whole lot here, and just a lot of structures, just a lot of different things. The lighthouse is going to be pretty neat, but it does look like we're going to have some pretty good covered opportunities to at least move around in here. I was really concerned about like it just being the lighthouse on like one small little island, and then you basically could just get sniped the entire time as you moved around, which certainly is going to be the case with the elevation. But yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. That's going to be pretty cool. And that's really what we have here. So we have some pretty cool screenshots to take a look at. I do like the night version of this too. I think looks really neat. So I'm glad they kind of provided that this is either at dusk or at as the sun rises here. So that's pretty cool. And as we flip back again, we get some daytime pictures of some good stuff. So Quick short video today. That's what I wanted to cover. I wanted to talk about. Again, we certainly spent some time talking about kind of the timeline. I would love to hear your thoughts. Are you excited about the new map? If it comes at the end of the year, and it, obviously, again, it's going to come with some additional features and a lot of stuff, new guns and all that kind of stuff. Would you want to see a wipe? I think that's an interesting question for the community, especially if you're playing. Consider, again, it'll be sometime, we're hoping November, December. It'll probably be December. But I think right around the holiday time when a lot of people can play, makes a ton of sense. And I certainly would be in favor of a wipe, especially if they're going to bring in a lot of new features and this new map. If it was just going to be the map, I would be okay. But I certainly want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you saw anything else, certainly drop that below that you're excited about or point out, or maybe concerns that you have with the map as well. Because I think map design is going to be, it's going to be interesting with this one, but I think it'll be a lot of fun, hopefully. And I think hopefully there's some good loot there is the other thing that I was saying. And the in-game trader, again, we don't know a whole lot about that, but I think that's going to be a really unique thing. So the only concern I have with the in-game trader is that I'm concerned how the mechanic itself is going to work, where you basically can't get camped once you get into the in-game trader. Hopefully there's a smart way that they figure out on how to do that, or maybe you can hit the trader and then you can extract right away or something like that, so that doesn't become a problem. But we shall see. More to know as we get more to know, and I'm hoping they do a little bit of a video or something with these screenshots as we get a little closer to release, because I would love to see more of this map. I think this is going to be one of the fun ones. I think this is going to be really interesting. So let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, I'll put the quick plug in here: like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed some of this kind of news and speculation and discussion piece. And yeah, if you did, like, comment, subscribe. We do appreciate all the support on the channel. Thanks for tuning into the video, listening to my rambles and my thoughts, and hopefully, again, being able to respond to yours down below. In addition, we do stream over on Twitch Fridays and Saturdays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So give us a follow over there. All the links in the description. We've got a Discord and a Twitter as well, which is how we stay up to date with this stuff. But Discord is the place to be if you want to stay up to date with the channel. So we'd love to have you over there, join our community. And with that, I'll wrap this one up. Doc, Average Gamer Guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next Escape from Tarkov video. Peace!